I never imagined that a seemingly innocuous notification on my phone could shatter the comfortable illusion of normalcy that had defined my life for so long. It began on a Tuesday evening when, after a day filled with mundane office tasks and endless emails, I returned home to the quiet solitude of my modest apartment. The air was still, carrying a hint of autumn's chill, and I settled into my favorite worn armchair with a cup of tea in hand. That's when it happened. A series of credit alerts began to pop up on my screen. At first, I dismissed them as errors, perhaps misfires from a banking system overwhelmed by routine transactions. But as the messages accumulated, each one chronicling an expense at an establishment that I had never consciously visited, an unmistakable feeling of curiosity mingled with apprehension took hold. The very first alert detailed a charge from an establishment with a name that resonated like a whisper of an elegant secret, a dining venue known simply as L'Essence. The alert noted an expense that was exorbitant, far beyond what I would have ever willingly approved. My pulse quickened as I stared at the screen, trying to recall if I had, in some rare moment of splurging abandon, allowed such a transaction. But the truth was I had not. Instead, it was as if someone, somewhere, had orchestrated a covert invitation into a world I only knew from whispered rumors and fleeting dreams. The more alerts came in, each corresponding to an exclusive restaurant, an opulent tasting event, or a discreet culinary rendezvous, the more I sensed that these were not errors at all. They were deliberate, meticulously timed hints meant to guide me somewhere beyond the confines of my everyday life. For weeks, I sat in quiet contemplation, my mind oscillating between skepticism and a deep, almost magnetic allure to uncover the mystery behind these transactions. I began to piece together the fragments of information embedded in each alert, each one hinting at an underlying narrative, a secret escape to a realm of fine dining and clandestine meetings. My rational mind, steeped in routine and caution, urged me to ignore these temptations. Yet my heart, ever yearning for a taste of something more extraordinary, whispered that perhaps this was my chance to break free from the monotony that had become my life. One crisp autumn evening, when the city lights twinkled like scattered jewels across the dark canvas of the sky, I resolved to follow the trail. I dressed carefully, choosing a silk blouse and a tailored skirt that gave me an air of understated elegance. I applied just enough makeup to accentuate my features without venturing into overt flamboyance, and I left home with a mix of trepidation and exhilaration that made my pulse race. I had no concrete plan, only a vague address provided by the latest alert, a location that, according to the message, was the gateway to an exclusive venue known only to a select few. The building stood in a quiet side street, a relic from a bygone era with its aged facade and intricate wrought iron details. It was unremarkable to the untrained eye, easily overlooked among the modern structures that now dominated the skyline. Yet there was an undeniable air of mystery about it, as if the building itself harbored secrets waiting to be unveiled. I hesitated at the heavy wooden door for a long moment, my hand poised above the brass handle. In that pause, every rational thought waged war with the overwhelming desire to experience what lay beyond. Finally, with a deep, steadying breath, I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The interior of the building was a revelation. Gone was the sterile, uninviting aura I had expected. Instead, I found myself enveloped in a warm glow that bathed a grand foyer in soft light. The walls were adorned with vintage portraits and ornate mirrors, and the faint strains of classical music filled the air like a delicate caress. A discreet sign hung near a reception desk, its inscription reading simply, "Le Passage." I was greeted almost immediately by a gentleman in an impeccably tailored suit. His eyes sparkled with a knowing glint as he offered a subtle smile, and without a word, he gestured for me to follow him through a series of winding corridors. Every step I took felt like a journey deeper into a world I had only dared to imagine in my most private daydreams. The corridors were lined with polished wooden panels and soft carpets that muffled my footsteps, and the ambient lighting created an intimate atmosphere that seemed to promise secrets and hidden pleasures. I found myself wondering if this escape was meant solely for me, a personal invitation to leave behind the constraints of an ordinary existence and immerse myself in an experience of refined indulgence. With each passing moment, my nerves transformed into an exhilarated anticipation that made the hair on my arms stand on end. The gentleman led me to a door that was discreetly nestled at the end of a narrow hall. He knocked lightly, and after a brief pause, the door swung open to reveal a grand dining room unlike any I had ever seen. The room was a perfect blend of old-world charm and modern luxury, with richly upholstered chairs arranged around intricately set tables, each adorned with flickering candles that cast dancing shadows on the polished surfaces. In the center of the room stood a magnificent chandelier, its crystals refracting the light into a kaleidoscope of colors that added to the room's magical ambience. I was quietly ushered to a table near a large window that overlooked a beautifully landscaped garden, where soft strains of a piano sonata mingled with the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. The waiter, whose demeanor was both respectful and unobtrusive, presented me with a menu that read like poetry, a carefully curated list of dishes that promised to be as much a feast for the senses as for the palate. As I scanned the menu, a surge of emotion overtook me. It was as if each dish carried with it a story, a history steeped in passion and creativity, and I felt an intense desire to not only savor the food but also to understand the narrative behind it. I ordered a tasting menu, a culinary journey that promised to traverse a spectrum of flavors and emotions. With each course that arrived, I found myself drawn into a deeper state of introspection. The first dish was a delicate amuse-bouche that exploded with freshness and vibrant aromas, a prelude that awakened my senses and set the stage for what was to come. As the evening progressed, each subsequent course revealed layers of complexity, combining traditional techniques with innovative twists. There was a dish of slow-cooked lamb, tender and infused with exotic spices, that spoke of long-forgotten traditions and whispered of ancient secrets. A dessert of dark chocolate and red wine reduction evoked memories of bittersweet moments and unspoken desires. Between courses, I couldn't help but steal glances around the room, observing the other guests who seemed to share in this secret celebration of gastronomy. Their conversations were soft murmurs of laughter and admiration, and I sensed that they, too, had been drawn into this clandestine world by fate or perhaps by a deliberate invitation. I found myself wondering about their stories. Had they, like me, received mysterious alerts that lured them away from the ordinary? Or were they, perhaps, individuals who had long since embraced the art of living on the edge, seeking out the rare moments that defied convention? As the evening deepened, so did the mystery that enveloped me. I began to realize that this experience was not merely about a sumptuous meal, but about a profound transformation, a brief, shimmering escape from the repetitive cadence of daily life. I had always been a creature of habit, content with the predictable rhythms of work, solitude, and the occasional indulgence in a well-worn novel. Yet, here in this enchanting dining room, surrounded by strangers who wore their secrets like delicate jewelry, I felt an unfamiliar sense of liberation. It was as if the universe had conspired to offer me a glimpse into a hidden realm where every moment was charged with possibility and every encounter held the promise of discovery. I found myself engaging in quiet conversations with the guests at neighboring tables, each interaction a thread in a tapestry of shared experiences. One gentleman, whose eyes bore the weight of countless adventures, recounted tales of far-off lands and serendipitous meetings. His stories were rich with detail, each narrative unfolding like a carefully guarded secret passed down through generations. A woman seated across from me spoke of her own journey, a path marked by unexpected detours and the brave pursuit of passions that defied societal expectations. Their voices, mingling with the soft strains of the piano, created a symphony of whispered dreams and unspoken yearnings. Throughout the night, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this place than the fine food and elegant surroundings. There was an underlying current of mystery, a sense that every detail, no matter how subtle, was part of a larger design. The meticulous presentation of each dish, the deliberate pauses between courses, even the arrangement of the candles, all of it seemed to be orchestrated with a precision that bordered on the uncanny. I began to suspect that this was not a mere restaurant, but rather a secret venue designed to offer its guests a transformative experience, one that went beyond the physical act of dining. As dessert was served, a delicate creation of caramelized figs paired with a whisper of lavender, I allowed myself to fully surrender to the moment. The flavors melded together in a way that evoked both nostalgia and anticipation, stirring emotions I had long thought dormant. I looked around the room and felt a profound connection to everyone present, as though we were all participants in a grand, unfolding narrative that transcended the boundaries of time and space. In that instant, I realized that life, with all its ordinary trials and triumphs, had a hidden dimension, one that revealed itself only to those brave enough to seek it out. The experience left me with more questions than answers. Who had orchestrated this secret escape? Was I the only one receiving these enigmatic credit alerts, or were there others like me, chosen to step briefly into this world of clandestine delights? I couldn't help but wonder if this was a one-time indulgence or the beginning of a recurring journey into the unknown. As I slowly sipped the last of my after-dinner coffee, I felt a stirring inside me, a call to action that was impossible to ignore. The ordinary life I had known for so long now seemed like a mere prelude to something infinitely more vibrant, a hidden realm where every credit alert might be a key to unlocking another layer of mystery and wonder. The drive home was quiet and introspective. I replayed every detail of the evening in my mind, the hushed greetings, the soft clink of cutlery, the deliberate pacing of each course, and the subtle interplay of light and shadow in that enchanting dining room. It felt as if I had crossed an invisible threshold, stepping into a reality where the mundane was transformed into the extraordinary by the power of intention and mystery. My heart was still racing with the thrill of discovery, and I knew that my life had been irrevocably changed in ways that I could only begin to understand. That night, as I lay in bed listening to the quiet hum of the city beyond my window, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of gratitude for the unexpected invitation that had altered the course of my existence. I had always believed that life was a series of predetermined events, a routine of habitual choices with little room for surprise. But now I understood that sometimes, the universe sends subtle signals, credit alerts on a quiet evening, that nudge us toward paths we never knew existed. The experience had awakened something dormant within me, a longing for adventure, a hunger for the extraordinary, and above all, a recognition that every moment holds the potential for transformation. In the days that followed, I found myself oscillating between disbelief and eager anticipation. Each time I checked my phone, I wondered if another alert would appear, beckoning me back to that secret sanctuary of taste and mystery. I began to research the restaurant and the venue, delving into old magazines, online forums, and even obscure culinary blogs, searching for clues that might explain the sudden emergence of this hidden world. Yet, the more I looked, the more elusive the answers became. It was as if the venue existed on a different plane of reality, accessible only through a series of carefully placed hints and the willingness to embrace the unknown. As I revisited my experience in my mind, I recalled subtle details that had seemed insignificant at the time, a particular pattern in the waiter's smile, the quiet intensity in the eyes of a fellow diner, the almost imperceptible shift in the background music at a pivotal moment. Each of these details now appeared to me as a carefully crafted part of a larger puzzle, one that was meant to be pieced together gradually over time. I felt both privileged and slightly overwhelmed by the knowledge that I had glimpsed a world that lay just beneath the surface of everyday life, a realm where beauty and mystery converged in unexpected ways. Even now, as I write these thoughts, I can still feel the residual warmth of that evening. The memory of that secret escape lingers like the faint aroma of an exquisite spice, stirring my soul and reminding me that life is not merely about survival but about seizing moments of transcendence whenever they arise. I am left with a quiet determination to explore further, to listen more intently for the subtle cues that might lead me to another extraordinary encounter. There is an entire universe of hidden experiences waiting to be discovered, and I have learned that sometimes, the key to unlocking these mysteries lies in embracing the unexpected. In the stillness of those early hours, I realized that this journey was not just about fine dining or exclusive venues, it was about reclaiming a part of myself that had long been dormant. I had allowed the safe, predictable rhythm of everyday life to dull my senses, to mute the vibrant passions that once defined me. This experience had reminded me of the joy of spontaneity, the thrill of stepping beyond the confines of comfort and routine, and the boundless wonder that lies in the unknown. I vowed then, in the quiet solitude of my room, to remain open to the serendipitous invitations that life might send my way, to cherish every unexpected moment as a precious gift. The journey that began with those mysterious credit alerts had planted a seed of transformation within me, a seed that now grows steadily, nourished by the promise of hidden adventures and untold stories. I can no longer view my existence as a series of isolated transactions and routine activities. Instead, I have come to understand that life is a grand narrative, woven together by the threads of chance encounters, secret escapes, and the unyielding desire to seek out beauty in its most unexpected forms. As I drifted off to sleep that night, the echoes of the evening's experiences mingled with dreams of distant places and uncharted possibilities. I imagined returning to that elusive venue, each visit uncovering a new facet of a multifaceted world that existed just beyond the veil of the ordinary. In the depths of my heart, I knew that I had been irrevocably changed, that the mysterious alerts had not only led me to a sumptuous meal but had also awakened a deeper yearning for a life filled with passion, mystery, and the ever-present allure of the unknown. Now, in the quiet moments of reflection that follow the initial shock of revelation, I find myself both excited and anxious about what the future may hold. The experience has left me with a heightened awareness of the subtle interplay between fate and free will, and I am compelled to follow the trail of these elusive signals wherever they may lead. Every day, as I go about my usual tasks, I feel the undercurrent of that magical night pulsing beneath the surface of my routine, a gentle reminder that the extraordinary is never far away, waiting patiently for those who dare to seek it. And so, as I conclude this chapter of my unfolding story, I am filled with a sense of wonder and anticipation. I know that my journey is only just beginning, that beyond the familiar confines of my everyday life lies a realm of possibility that beckons with the promise of further secrets, exquisite flavors, and transformative encounters. Each credit alert, each subtle hint, is a call to adventure, a whisper from a hidden world urging me to break free from the mundane and embrace the mystery that lies just around the corner. With my heart open and my spirit ready, I am prepared to follow that call, knowing that every step I take will lead me deeper into a narrative that is as unpredictable as it is beautiful, as challenging as it is exhilarating. I have come to appreciate that life's most profound experiences are often the ones that catch us unawares, the moments that shatter our preconceptions and reveal the vast, untapped potential of our inner worlds. This unexpected journey, one that began with a few enigmatic credit alerts and culminated in an unforgettable evening of culinary and emotional exploration, has taught me that the boundaries between the ordinary and the extraordinary are far more permeable than I ever imagined. In the days and weeks ahead, I intend to remain receptive to those subtle signals, to listen carefully for the next invitation that might lead me into yet another hidden sanctuary of wonder. Until then, the memory of that night continues to inspire me, a vivid reminder that sometimes, the greatest adventures begin with a single, mysterious alert. The days following that transformative evening were filled with a mixture of lingering wonder and a palpable anticipation of what might come next. Every morning, as I sipped my coffee and readied myself for the routine demands of daily life, my mind kept drifting back to the sumptuous dining room, the hushed conversations, and the palpable magic of that night. I began noticing small details, a glint in a stranger's eye, a fleeting smile from a coworker, even the way the afternoon sunlight filtered through the city's glass towers, as if the world itself were whispering secrets meant only for me. I felt different now, more attuned to a subtle undercurrent of possibility, as if every moment carried the potential for an unexpected adventure. One particular evening, just as the chill of early winter began to settle over the city, I received another alert. This time, the message was even more cryptic, a single line that simply read, "Invitation confirmed, rendezvous at l'Entrée de l'Artisan." There was no mention of a time or even an address, merely an assurance that the escape was set to continue. The thrill of uncertainty mingled with a cautious excitement. I couldn't help but feel that this new invitation was an evolution of the previous experience, a deeper dive into the world that had so unexpectedly embraced me. I spent that evening scouring my email and social media, searching for any additional clues, any mention of l'Entrée de l'Artisan, yet all I found were fragmented whispers in obscure culinary forums and scattered references in vintage lifestyle magazines. The anonymity of the venue only made the invitation more enticing, as if I were on the verge of discovering a closely guarded secret that had been hidden in plain sight. The following weekend, my heart pounded with a renewed sense of purpose as I prepared to follow this latest call. I dressed in something both elegant and daring, a tailored charcoal coat over a deep burgundy dress, paired with boots that clicked authoritatively against the pavement. As I made my way to the meeting point designated by the alert, a nondescript street corner at dusk, the fading light painted the city in hues of gold and shadow, each step echoing my internal resolve to once again venture beyond the familiar. The air was crisp, and the quiet murmur of the city seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. At the appointed place, I found a small, unobtrusive door set into the side of an old brick building. There was no sign, no indicator of what lay beyond, only a subtle engraving on the doorframe that read l'Entrée de l'Artisan. I hesitated for a moment, the same blend of excitement and trepidation that had accompanied my first foray into the unknown coursing through me. Then, with a determined push, I entered a space that felt like a bridge between the tangible world I knew and the mysterious realm that beckoned me onward. Inside, the atmosphere was altogether different from the last secret venue. Here, the decor was less opulent and more raw, exuding a rustic charm that hinted at an artisanal ethos. Exposed brick walls bore hand-painted murals depicting scenes of nature and ancient crafts, and the air was imbued with the rich, earthy aroma of wood smoke and freshly ground spices. A soft, ambient light emanated from vintage lamps scattered around the room, casting intricate shadows that danced along the worn wooden floorboards. There was a sense of intimacy here, a feeling that every element had been carefully chosen to evoke a deep, almost primal connection to tradition and creativity. A petite hostess, clad in a simple yet stylish dress, greeted me with a warm smile that was both familiar and mysterious. "Bonsoir," she said, her voice gentle as if she were sharing a secret with an old friend. "We have been expecting you." Her words, delivered in a quiet tone, resonated with a sincerity that immediately put me at ease. I was led past a small reception area and down a narrow corridor lined with photographs of smiling artisans and handwritten notes detailing the history of the venue. Every step forward was like turning a page in a long-forgotten diary, each moment steeped in stories of passion, perseverance, and artistry. When I reached a door at the end of the hall, it swung open to reveal an intimate dining space unlike any I had encountered before. The tables were arranged in a circular pattern, encouraging a sense of community and shared experience among the guests. At the center of the room, a long, rustic table was set for an evening of communal dining, a style that suggested the meal would be as much about connection and conversation as it was about the food itself. Soft murmurs and gentle laughter filled the air, and I could see that every guest was engaged in quiet, animated discussion, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of candlelight. I was ushered to a seat at the communal table, where I was greeted by a man whose presence radiated warmth and confidence. He introduced himself as Julian, one of the masterminds behind El Ante de El Artisan. His eyes held a spark of creativity, and his easy smile made me feel as if I had known him far longer than just that brief introduction. Over the course of the evening, Julian explained that the venue was not just a restaurant but a living homage to artisans and craftspeople from around the world, a place where culinary artistry met traditional craftsmanship, where each dish was created using time-honored methods and the freshest, locally sourced ingredients. His voice was filled with a quiet passion as he recounted the story of how the venue came to be, a tale of rediscovering forgotten techniques and reviving a sense of community in a rapidly modernizing world. The meal itself was an immersive experience. Each course was introduced with a brief narrative, a glimpse into the inspiration behind the dish. I was served a delicate starter of wild mushroom soup, its earthy aroma and velvety texture evoking memories of misty forests and dewy mornings. The next course was a salad featuring heirloom tomatoes, fresh basil, and a drizzle of olive oil so exquisite that it seemed to capture the essence of summer in every drop. As the courses progressed, I found myself becoming more and more entranced by the sensory journey. A centerpiece dish of slow-roasted duck, glazed with a reduction of local berries, evoked the bittersweet interplay of tradition and innovation, while a side of hand-rolled pasta, made fresh before my eyes, spoke of a dedication to craftsmanship that resonated deeply with my own longing for authenticity. Between courses, the conversations at the communal table grew richer and more intimate. I listened with rapt attention as fellow diners shared their own stories of searching for meaning in a world that often seemed overwhelmed by superficiality and routine. There was a quiet poet who had abandoned a lucrative career in finance to pursue a life of artistic creation, a retired teacher who had spent decades nurturing the curious minds of children and was now embarking on a journey of self-discovery, and a traveler whose eyes sparkled with the accumulated wisdom of far-off lands. Their voices, each distinct yet harmoniously interwoven with the overarching theme of rediscovery and connection, created an atmosphere that was both comforting and exhilarating. As the evening wore on, I found myself drawn into a conversation with Julian, who seemed genuinely interested in understanding the spark that had led me to this secret culinary haven. I recounted the surreal experience of receiving those cryptic credit alerts, and how each notification had served as a beacon, guiding me toward moments of unexpected beauty. He listened intently, nodding in understanding as he explained that the alerts were part of a larger tapestry, a carefully curated journey designed to awaken dormant desires and remind people of the profound joy that can be found in breaking free from the ordinary. He spoke of the venue as a space where people could rediscover not only the art of dining but also the art of living, of embracing spontaneity, forging connections, and celebrating the small, transformative moments that often go unnoticed in the rush of everyday life. After the meal, as the candles flickered low and the last strains of music faded into a comfortable silence, Julian invited a few of us to join him in a more private setting, a cozy lounge at the back of the venue where soft armchairs and low tables awaited intimate conversation. There, over a glass of aged brandy and a shared dessert of spiced pear tart, the conversation took on a more personal tone. I learned that Julian, like many of us, had once been ensnared by the relentless grind of a conventional life, until a chance encounter with a kindred spirit had inspired him to seek something deeper, something more resonant. His eyes gleamed with the certainty of someone who had found their true calling, and his story, imbued with both hardship and hope, struck a chord within me. That night, as I finally stepped back out into the cold embrace of the winter air, I felt as if I were emerging from a transformative cocoon. The journey through El Ante de El Artisan had not only tantalized my palate but had also ignited a fervent desire to explore the myriad layers of human experience. The anonymity of the alerts and the mystery of their source had evolved into a personal quest, a quest to seek out moments of genuine connection, artistic beauty, and soulful expression in a world that too often seemed indifferent to such pursuits. In the days that followed, I found myself revisiting the conversations and flavors of that evening. I spent hours musing over the delicate balance of spice and sweetness in the duck dish, and I couldn't help but wonder if each carefully crafted course was a metaphor for the way life itself could be transformed, one unexpected flavor at a time. I began to experiment in my own kitchen, mixing ingredients with a newfound appreciation for the alchemy of taste and memory, and in those solitary moments, I discovered that the creative spark I had experienced was not confined to the realm of fine dining alone. It was a call to live more fully, to seek out beauty in everyday encounters, and to embrace the unpredictable journey of self-discovery. My routine, once defined solely by deadlines and predictable rhythms, now vibrated with a hidden cadence, a secret rhythm that echoed the shared laughter at the communal table, the whispered stories of personal reinvention, and the gentle hum of possibility that permeated every corner of that enigmatic venue. I became more open to the serendipity of life, greeting chance encounters with a readiness to dive deep into conversation and savor the richness of fleeting moments. Even the city itself seemed transformed, familiar streets took on new contours, and the hum of everyday life was now punctuated by a sense of latent magic, as if the world had been waiting for me to awaken to its hidden wonders. As weeks turned into months, the mysterious alerts continued to appear sporadically, each one promising a new adventure and a further glimpse into the network of secret venues that spanned the city. I soon realized that I was not merely a passive recipient of these invitations but an active participant in a grand tapestry of discovery. Each new alert was like a key unlocking another door, each one leading me into a fresh narrative filled with unique characters, unexpected twists, and moments of introspection that reshaped my understanding of what it meant to truly live. I found that the pursuit of these experiences was both exhilarating and grounding, a reminder that while the world is vast and unpredictable, there is beauty to be found in every carefully crafted moment and every serendipitous encounter. One particularly crisp evening, when the air was laden with the promise of snow and the city's lights shimmered like scattered stars against the dark sky, I received yet another invitation. This one was even more mysterious than the previous ones. Your presence is requested, a journey beyond the horizon. There was an immediacy in those words, a call that resonated with the deepest parts of my soul. With a mix of excitement and a touch of apprehension, I followed the instructions, which led me to a secluded rooftop garden tucked away atop an old building in a forgotten part of the city. The garden was a hidden oasis amidst the urban sprawl, a delicate interplay of nature and artistry, where overgrown vines intertwined with sculptures of metal and stone, and where the soft glow of lanterns created a dreamlike ambience. There, in the quiet solitude of the garden, I encountered a small gathering of people, each of us bound together by the unspoken understanding that we were part of something rare and transformative. The air was thick with anticipation as we shared our stories, the surprises of the previous escapades, the lessons learned, and the subtle metamorphosis that had taken place in our hearts. In that moment, I realized that the alerts, the secret venues, and the carefully orchestrated experiences were all part of a larger movement, a collective quest for authenticity in a world that had grown too accustomed to superficiality. It was a revolution of the soul, a gentle rebellion against the forces of monotony and conformity. The evening unfolded in a series of intimate vignettes, a silent moment of reflection under a sky dusted with stars, an animated discussion about the art of living boldly, and a quiet dance in the midst of nature's embrace. I found myself connecting deeply with others, their eyes alight with the same fervor that now animated my own. Conversations flowed effortlessly, revealing hidden depths and shared vulnerabilities. In that enchanted setting, I realized that every credit alert, every clandestine invitation, had been a catalyst for rediscovering a truth I had long forgotten. That life is meant to be savored, experienced fully, and celebrated in all its unpredictable glory. As the night drew to a close and the first hints of dawn began to edge the horizon with a soft light, I stood alone in the garden for a few moments of quiet reflection. The cool air brushed against my skin, and I felt a profound sense of gratitude for the journey I had embarked upon, a journey that began with an inexplicable alert on a quiet evening and had since evolved into an exploration of the very essence of living. I had discovered that the path to fulfillment was not found in the accumulation of routine successes, but in the willingness to embrace the unknown, to trust in the serendipity of chance, and to find beauty in the unexpected intersections of life. In the aftermath of that night, I knew that my life would never be the same. The experiences that unfolded had awakened a dormant part of my spirit, a part that was eager to explore, to create, and to connect in ways that transcended the ordinary. I carried with me the lessons learned in every secret venue, every shared meal, and every whispered conversation, that the true magic of existence lies in the interplay between mystery and revelation, between the allure of the undiscovered and the comfort of shared human experience. Now, as I move forward into the unfolding chapters of my life, I remain ever watchful for those subtle signals, the unexpected alerts that promise to guide me toward new adventures and fresh encounters. The journey has become a tapestry woven from moments of daring spontaneity, moments of heartfelt connection, and moments of quiet introspection that reveal the infinite possibilities hidden within each day. I have learned to trust the gentle nudge of fate, to welcome uncertainty with open arms, and to celebrate the profound beauty that emerges when we dare to step outside our well-worn paths. Even in the midst of daily responsibilities and the inevitable ebb and flow of life's challenges, I carry the memory of those secret escapes like a cherished talisman, a reminder that, beneath the veneer of the mundane, there lies a vibrant world waiting to be discovered. And so, I continue to answer the call of those mysterious alerts, venturing forth with an open heart and a spirit eager to embrace the unknown, knowing that every step along this journey brings me closer to the essence of who I truly am. In the quiet moments before sleep, as I reflect on the tapestry of experiences that have reshaped my perception of life, I feel an abiding sense of hope. I understand now that every unexpected invitation, every secret escape, is not merely an anomaly but a deliberate invitation to reclaim a life filled with passion, creativity, and profound connection. The echoes of those nights, the flavors of carefully crafted dishes, and the voices of kindred spirits continue to resonate within me, urging me to live each day with the same intensity and wonder that marked the beginning of this incredible journey. And so, with each new alert that lights up my screen and each new door that opens to reveal a hidden sanctuary of art, cuisine, and soulful conversation, I embrace the adventure with all the courage and enthusiasm I can muster. For in these moments of pure, unadulterated experience, I have found a truth that transcends the boundaries of everyday life, a truth that reminds me that life, in all its mysterious splendor, is meant to be lived boldly, cherished deeply, and celebrated as the most exquisite work of art I have ever known.